What's up, guys? I'm here at 2016 San Diego Comic-Con, and I'm honored to have here with me composer Bear McCreary. How you doing, man?
Hey, man. Good to see you.
Good. So tell me, when did you come in, and can you tell me in that amount of time, like, have you had a chance to enjoy the con?
Every year is a new adventure. I got in early this morning, so I missed everything yesterday. I had a deadline, man. Like, I was, like, trying to get this music done, and then they're sending me notes, and I'm like, okay, that note's going to cost me 2 hours. Okay, wait, but I can still leave by 10 a.m. Oh, then I see this next note, like, I got to rewrite that. Okay, I can get out of here by 3 p.m. and get down there by 5, and then I read the next note, and it's like, it ain't going to happen. So anyway, but it's been a lot of fun. Like, I love walking around the floor, and I love seeing, like, all the fans for the projects that I work on. Like, I so rarely get to interact with people that watch these shows and these movies and play these games, and so it's really cool. It's like a cool experience for me, and I have a blast. I always love it.
Cool. And just like you said, there's so many shows that you work on: Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., Black Sails. I can go on and on. What is your process in creating the music for those shows? Because obviously they're not only are they in different genres, they have different styles. So how do you approach it?
Well, it's like you said, they're all very different. So I kind of get to approach each project in its own way. Every show, every movie sometimes needs something different, and I've just been fortunate that I get calls for things that diverse. So I can work on Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. and The Walking Dead, and then do Black Sails, and I can 10 Cloverfield Lane. Everything has its own identity, and I find that very inspiring. I love the kind of blank canvas of, there's a pirate show. What are the rules for scoring a pirate show?
Right.
I don't know, man. Like, I don't know. There's a zombie drama. Okay, well, there's no rules, so let's figure it out. That's really fun, and I, generally get to work with producers that are really like open-minded to, I'm going to bring a hurdy-gurdy in and play it over like a heavy metal song for your pirate show. Let's try it, and it works. So it's cool.
All right, so that actually is a great transition with a project like Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., for example. You're dealing with that large entity known as Marvel with, all the various things projects that they have intertwining together. And I know sometimes it can be tricky with what has been said, like with directors, of just making sure that it falls within that canvas. So, is in working on a show like that, does it still present challenges in making sure that you're falling within that canvas?
It does, and thankfully everybody at Disney and Marvel and ABC helped me circumvent the biggest challenge, which is making it sound as big as the Marvel movies.
Yeah.
The way they help me with that is we have a full orchestra every week. So I have up to 100-piece orchestra every single episode. So you can check off, it needs to sound like the big movies. Okay, check. That's one problem. Mm-hmm. Another problem is sometimes you have cameos from other characters.
Exactly.
You have things tying in, and that's where it can get a little tricky. And like in season 2, I called up my buddy Chris Lennertz, who scores Agent Carter. Mm-hmm. And I said, hey, Chris, I got Agent Carter showing up in my show. Can I quote your theme? And so he sent me some materials, and Chris's theme shows up in my score when she shows up, and then he called me a few months later, and he's like, hey man, they're talking about Hydra, and you've got a Hydra theme in your show, right? And I'm like, yeah man, let me send it to you. Right. So it's like fun, you get to kind of cross-pollinate material that way. Other than that, it's interesting because the Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. takes place in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, but the characters that we know the best in the Marvel Cinematic Universe still think Agent Coulson is dead.
Exactly.
So there is a wall, which is actually healthy for us creatively, that we're telling these stories that there's references to the events, but we're not beholden to them. Mm-hmm. And that actually has kind of opened me up to develop my own character themes. There's this big orchestral sound, but there's also like a really raw kind of punchy synth-based sound. There's electric guitars. There's stuff that tries to comment on the fact that we're dealing with humans, mostly. Yeah, right. Not entirely. Right, some Inhumans. Right. But, people that are like normal people to a degree that have to live in this world. That's what the show is asking you to think about. What is it like to live in a world where the Avengers are a thing, And so I think about that musically and try to give you the spectacle, but also really bring things down to an intimate level where you need to.
Okay, and conversely, with the show like Black Sails, where you're working on the music from the beginning since its inception, and then season to season, bringing something that's still familiar yet still different. Can you talk a bit about that? That challenge.
Black Sails is really interesting because it starts off the main title is very like rugged and gritty and like jagged and broken, and those are weird words to use to describe a piece of music, but like if you go YouTube this music, like it's weird. And in fact, the reason when I finally was trying to figure it out, and I kept sending drafts to the producer, and he kept saying, he's like, no, it's not right. And he said, this is a show about broken people. Like, nobody's the hero. Everyone's kind of like got their baggage, and they're just all this, like, they're just broken people. And I was like, okay, let me think about that. And then it worked. But what's fun is those broken people turn out to have very interesting character arcs. The well is very deep on them. Yeah. And, our most badass, masculine, macho pirate guy has an interesting backstory in season 2. Things become more layered. I actually think it's one of the best written dramas on television under the guise of a pirate action show, which it is technically. I guess there's so much action, I can't say it's not an action show, but it's not an action show. So what happened is that music over the course of the seasons has become just more detailed and more granular, and I'm following these emotional arcs, and it's simpler and it's more sparse. Even as the action gets bigger, I'm following the characters more, and it's been really interesting. I've really enjoyed working on it, and dude, the last season is so cool. Like it's even better than the third season, which was one of the best seasons of television I've ever seen.
All right, great. So in closing, just like you said, you were talking about things that can happen on the fly, as a composer, of things that working on music at the last minute. With all of these projects that you do, I have to ask, man, do you clone yourself? How do you find the time to work on all of these projects? I'm
working on a cloning program as we speak.
Okay, that makes sense.
I know, they're all coming out filthy monsters. No, I don't know. Dude, I don't sleep very much, But these are all projects that when I got the phone call, you say yes. When you get the call, it's like, hey, Joss wants you to come in and meet on Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Did you have time to do that?
Yeah.
Yes. Hey, I'm doing a pirate drama. Yes. I'm doing a time travel Scottish romance. You don't get that call every day, Right. JJ wants you to come in and do 10 Cloverfield Lane. It's like, okay, I'm gonna say yes to that, So it's neat. I'm inspired, and were I working on, a bunch of medical dramas, or they were all police shows, it would be tough. And I got to say, it is tough, but at the same time, I'm so inspired by the material. It's fun. It doesn't feel like work, So that's how I can do it, I guess.
Cool, man. Well, thank you so much for your time.
Of course.
All right, so there you have it, guys. Again, I'm here at 2016 San Diego Comic-Con. I'm Brandon Troy. This is Bear McCreary. I'll see you soon.